Good evening, and welcome back to the only channel that reads between the lines of fame to find the human story underneath. Welcome to News Around. Istanbul is a city built on secrets. Its ancient walls have guarded emperors, and its waters have swallowed the whispers of lovers for centuries. But last night, under the muted glow of an invitation-only event, the city surrendered one of its most fiercely guarded mysteries. We are talking about Cenk Torun and Mahassine Merabet. For months, they have been the subject of a narrative that felt incomplete, a story written in glances, pauses, and the electric tension of unconfirmed rumors. They were the couple that wasn't, the colleagues whose chemistry was too potent to be just professional, yet too private to be claimed. But in a single, unguarded moment tucked into a corner where neon softened into shadow, the walls came down. It wasn't just a display of affection. It was a rupture in the calm they had meticulously maintained. Today, we are dissecting the kiss that has redefined their reality. We are looking at the protective hand of a veteran actor, the radiant surrender of a rising star, and the digital earthquake that followed. Was this a spontaneous slip, or a calculated declaration? And what does this explosion of sincerity mean for two careers that are currently soaring? Before we step into the velvet-roped world of last night, I have a request for our inner circle. If you appreciate this kind of deep, narrative journalism that goes beyond the clickbait, please make sure you are subscribed to News Around. And for those who want to support the art of storytelling, I invite you to click the join button. Your membership is the heartbeat of this channel. Now, let us travel to the banks of the Bosphorus. The air above the Bosphorus felt warmer last night, as if the city itself was holding its breath. The venue was one of those exclusive enclaves where the elite gather to see and be seen, a place where privacy is promised but rarely kept. Into this charged atmosphere walked Cenk Torun and Mahassine Merabet. Their entrance was not the standard co-stars supporting an event arrival. Cenk Torun, a screen icon known for his old-school courtesy and a private life he has defended with military discipline, did not walk ahead of her. He arrived side by side with Mahassine, the radiant force from Morocco whose sensitivity on camera has turned casual viewers into devoted admirers. They didn't stride in like colleagues eager for polite selfies to promote a show. They crossed the threshold with a current between them that insisted on being felt. Witnesses describe a palpable shift in the room. Conversations didn't stop, but they quieted. There is a specific frequency that emits from two people who are trying to hide that they are the center of each other's universe, and last night, that frequency was deafening. Cenk kept a protective orbit around Mahassine, his awareness laser-locked on her comfort. It was the kind of gallant attentiveness that belongs to a bygone era. Shielding her from the press of the crowd, guiding her with a light touch to the small of her back. Mahassine, usually the picture of poise, seemed to lean into this protection, finding an anchor in his presence. This wasn't performance art, it was choreography forged slowly, in trust and in time. And then, it happened. Tucked into a carefully lit corner where the aggressive flash of the main photographers couldn't quite reach, the unimaginable tilted into reality. Perhaps it was the music, perhaps it was the relief of being away from the main stage, or perhaps it was simply the weight of months of denial finally becoming too heavy to carry. Cameras planted for ambience, or perhaps by fate, caught the instant Cenk inclined toward Mahassine. This wasn't a practiced move for the paparazzi. It wasn't a cheek kiss designed for optics. It was a full, unguarded embrace, dense with the accumulation of everything they had held back. It was the release of glances withheld on set, of sentences edited mid-breath during interviews, of electricity held at bay until it could no longer be contained by the fear of gossip. The murmur of guests turned to a suspended hush, a collective inhale that cracked the ceiling of secrecy. In that brief interaction, the colleagues' narrative dissolved. You could see the tension leave Mahassine's shoulders as she leaned into him, and you could see the profound tenderness in the way Cenk's hand steadied at her back. It was a moment of absolute honesty in a room full of pretenders. I want to pause here and ask you, the romantics of News Around, do you think they knew they were being watched, or was this truly a moment where the rest of the world disappeared? There is a debate raging online right now about whether this was a soft launch or a slip-up. What is your verdict? Let me know in the comments below. To truly grasp the dimension of that embrace, we must rewind their history. This is not a sudden fling. This is Cenk Torun and Mahassine Merabet. 4 seasons, we have watched them on screen, navigating scripts filled with vengeance, redemption, and impossible love. But the audience always suspected that the script was merely a guideline for something realer happening beneath the surface. Cenk Torun has spent years balancing charisma with mystery. He is an actor who separates his public charm from his private shelter with ironclad walls. He does not let people in easily. Meanwhile, Mahassine Merabet has climbed the ladder of the industry with grace, projecting a fierce dedication to her craft and an iron poise unshaken by the noise of stardom. Their shared glances in behind-the-scenes footage always felt a beat too charged. Their silences in joint interviews were somehow eloquent. Last night's choice wasn't a spontaneous detour, it felt like a planned pivot, a measured decision to stop pretending that the spark belonged only to the characters they played. They were tired of the fiction. They wanted the truth. Why now? That is the question circulating in the producer circles of Istanbul today. Some columnists argue the move was calculated, a smart, timely reveal to formalize a secret the industry already suspected. But look closer at the footage. Watch Cenk's eyes when he glances at Mahassine in the candid shots taken after the kiss. There is devotion there, and a quiet fearlessness. That gaze is not choreography. You can design a posture, but you cannot design a heartbeat. Watching Cenk's gallant protectiveness, the door held open, the subtle positioning to shield her from crowds. You sense a man determined to protect the bubble where love can breathe. Mahassine shines beside him in a way that says she's found a steady ground. This is a woman who has navigated a foreign industry, learned a new language, and carried the weight of a lead role. In Cenk, she seems to have found an anchor built on patience rather than control. Replaying those final images as the night wrapped, you catch details more revealing than the kiss itself. He never surrendered her hand as they crossed the lobby. He didn't hide. He didn't bow his head. He didn't deploy props like sunglasses or a hood to dodge the shot. There was calm acceptance, even a hint of relief, as though honesty had finally caught up with reality. The digital quake was immediate. Within minutes of the images hitting the internet, the clip became a siren-blaring crossroads for opinion and awe. Love bomb of the year might sound dramatic, but the appetite for a romance that dares to outgrow fiction is enormous. Fans with forensic instincts froze frames and zoomed in on details, the way his hand lingered, the after-smile they couldn't hide when the kiss ended. The Cenk and Mahassine constellation, in marketing terms, is brilliant right now. But more importantly, the tone of their own online presence shifted. Gone was the strategically blurred tenderness of the past months. In its place, we are seeing carefully chosen photos that radiate warmth without flaunting vulnerability. The calibration is refined, but the feeling is unmistakable. They have stepped into a chapter of fullness. They are no longer hiding. They are owning their narrative. If you are enjoying this deep dive into the psychology of celebrity romance, please consider supporting News Around by clicking the join button. Your membership helps us dedicate the time needed to write these in-depth scripts and edit these videos. It's a small step for you, but a giant leap for our channel's growth. And of course, make sure you've smashed that subscribe button. However, the same radiance that dazzles can blind. Analysts warn that blending a real relationship with a shared professional life is a high-wire act. The rumor treadmill began humming louder last night. Word is that Cenk Torun and Mahassine Merabet may soon headline a new project together. If what we saw last night is a preview of their on-camera synergy, a sharp script could be alchemy. Studios are tracking every metric, each comment, each surge in engagement. But blending a real relationship with a shared set can exhaust the magic if guarded boundaries fail. Can they maintain the professionalism that defined their early career while navigating the intensity of a public romance? If their behavior last night is any indication, the answer is yes. They moved not as 2 giddy teenagers, but as 2 partners who understand the stakes. They faced the temperature of 100 flashes without flinching, as if releasing the weight of concealing joy took nothing more than an exhale. This moment won't be archived as merely a splashy clip. It will be catalogued as the pivot point, the scene where a private love decided to become a public storyline. Last night redrew the map for how Cenk Torun and Mahassine Merabet will be seen. They are no longer simply two performers whose timing made scenes crackle. They have become the portrait of a passion that demanded a home in daylight. The question trailing the night breeze across Istanbul is simple and merciless. Will this explosion of sincerity lay the foundation for something lasting, or will the bright pressure that adores today corrode tomorrow? Mahassine, usually composed before the press, seemed truly unburdened last night. Her smile met the cameras without apology, and her eyes carried the glow of someone who chose to live her truth and stand by it regardless of the echo. And Cenk? He looked like a man who had finally stopped fighting the inevitable. Expect an official note from them soon, or perhaps just more photographs brave enough to speak without words. Whatever happens, News Around will be here to go frame by frame, to keep the temperature of public sentiment, and to separate the noise from the signal. Thank you for traveling this road with us tonight, for trusting our eye and our patience. What do you think the future holds for Cenk and Mahassine? Are you excited for a new project, or do you think they should keep their work and love lives separate? Let us know in the comments below. Please, do not forget to like this video if you enjoyed the storytelling. Subscribe to News Around so you never miss a beat of the Turkish entertainment world. And once again, a massive thank you to our members who have clicked the join button. You make this channel possible. Until next time, may your love be as brave as theirs. Goodbye.